semi-carb kind of life, baby, baby. There's this hip, cool thing happening in the wine world, even in the coffee world. It's called carbonic maceration. A bunch of mumbo jumbo, but essentially it's a fancy kind of fermentation that takes place inside of the fruit. It only happens when you're in an anaerobic environment. No oxygen. You want the carbon dioxide to push all the oxygen out, and then you have an anaerobic, carbon dioxide rich environment. So the idea here is to do a traditional fermentation on the bottom, which will create carbon dioxide, pushing all the oxygen out, and then in that carbon dioxide rich environment, the carbonic maceration or carbonic fermentation will happen in the whole fruit.
Have you ever done this before?
I couldn't find a whole lot online about it, so this is like a very experimental situation for me. In fact, this is technically called a semi-carbonic maceration. Fully carbonic would be like in a tank, they inject gas in there, and it's like, it's very fancy. Apparently you can do it with dry ice, but I'm not gonna deal with that. We have these really beautiful nectarines that I froze while they were ripe because they were super, super delicious. And I've been wanting to make something with these. Since they're already frozen, they've released all their juice and natural sugar. I think they'll be perfect for the alcoholic fermentation part of this, which will happen at the bottom. What a pretty color. Cool. These plums, they're nice and ripe, and there's no tears in any of the skins, so hopefully this works, but you're just gonna add them in whole. You want the yeast on the outside of this plum to start eating the sugar in the nectarine, pushing out all the oxygen, so the carbonic maceration can start to happen to the plums. Inside of the plums.
So
It's like fermentationception. This is a very popular thing in the natural wine scene. The reason people do it is there's less skin contact with the juice, which creates a lower tannin wine, a fruitier wine, because it preserves more of that fruit flavor in the inside, and it'll create more of a lively, bright, fruity wine that's meant to be enjoyed young, as in it doesn't need to be aged as long as traditional wines in order to be enjoyable, because it has that really bright, alive, fruity taste, which sounds really intriguing to me because I don't like waiting for the wine to be finished. Throw it under an airlock. That's gonna allow the oxygen to escape, but no more oxygen will get in, and that's it. We basically wait. Probably have to come back to this in like a month or something. The carbonic maceration only happens over like 5 days, but in order for this fermentation to begin and then actually start producing enough carbon dioxide to create the environment we're looking for, we'll have to add on in probably another week. Let's just be patient. It's been 1 week. It's working. And the reasons we know that it's working are as follows. Bubbles that are forming on top of this liquid that's being leached out mean that there is an alcoholic fermentation, so a standard fermentation happening at the bottom. The airlock is all the way pushed up, which means there's pressure. So we also know that we're in an anaerobic environment. The carbonic maceration is happening inside of the plums. And the reason we know that the top ones are fermenting from within is because they started to split. So after a certain amount of alcohol is produced inside the fruit, it'll burst. I'm gonna let this go for maybe 1 or 2 more days just to let the ones on top kind of finish out what they're doing. Super exciting. I mean, I think this is working like a charm. So I only wish now that I had made more. Our carbonic plum wine has been carbonating, I guess. It's carbonified.
Bonafide, carbonified.
Bonafide, carbonified. I don't know if you could see that little split there on that one.
Yeah.
It's been 12 days, I think. 13 days. And we're gonna move on from the carbonic maceration to just like a regular fermentation. We're gonna finish out the wine now. If I had to guess, the alcohol content is probably like 1 or 2% right now. Wow. It smells like a really lively pet nat kind of wine. So perfect. That's exactly what we want. My idea with this wine is to do as little intervention as possible. I am gonna add sugar just to get that ABV to wine levels so that we can bottle it and we don't have to worry about it like going bad on us or anything. Other than that, I'm not gonna add any acid or yeast or anything. It's just gonna be the natural yeast in here. I am going to break these up with my hand. Whoa. It smells really crazy. It smells fermented. I'm just gonna like mash everything up, really. I did clean my hand. Next up, we're gonna add 2 cups of just white sugar. And again, I just wanna get the ABV up. I'm just gonna try to get this mixed in. And lastly, I'm gonna add 1 liter of water. I'm gonna resist urges to adjust the wine, but we're gonna leave it like this for another probably 2 weeks at least. We're just gonna take a quick like initial gravity reading on this and try to see where we're at so that we can figure out later when the wine is done about what ABV we ended up at. We'll see you in a couple more weeks. I'm just gonna rack it once. This way I can like allow it to settle one more time without all this stuff. Then we can put it in a bottle. The color's kind of cool. Like a pinky, peachy color. So it's like faint sort of skin of a nectarine or a peach. Like you're in the section of the grocery store where the peaches are. I don't even know how to describe this. Peach fuzz. It's pretty dry, a little watery. You can feel like alcohol, so it's there. But not like a ton. You want to try it? It kind of gives like a little bit of like a fruit leather.
It's like those like the fruit snacks that they have at Whole Foods.
Yeah,
They aren't quite as
like
good.
healthy ones. Yeah.
like healthy.
We'll give some of this stuff that we stirred up some time to float to the bottom. Then we'll go ahead and put it in bottles with a little bit of sugar and kind of bottle carbonate. And then it'll be ready. Time to bottle, I think. So.
Should I get in there?
It smells good. Looks like there's some oils kind of on top here.
Oh shit.
Interesting. I don't know what those are from. It smells good. It smells very nectarine heavy on the nose. Yeah, really nice smell. Super into that. I'm gonna get a little bit here to do a reading. Okay. Easy.
It's working.
0.099999. So it's basically completely fermented dry, which is sick. We're at 12% alcohol, right? That was the potential alcohol. We fermented completely dry. So we did it. Okay, cool. 12%. Love it. Okay, it's tasting a lot better than the last time I tasted it. This is really pleasant actually. It still has a little bit of acidity, which is nice because I haven't like added anything to it. Kind of that unripe plum. The nose is a lot more nectarine, but the taste is a lot more plum. Like unripe plum, a little bit of sweetness, but not like a ton. I love it. This is really good actually. Dimity, you want to try it really fast?
Yeah, super dry, but fruity.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I think the carbonic worked because it's giving me like a fresh fruit, not a fermented fruit vibe.
And it has a bit of like effervescent, like bubbly, or like whenever you drink like a flat soda water or like a flat LaCroix, it has that kind of like tingly, but there's no bubbles in it. It was like a savory kind of.
Yeah, there's a saltiness to it. Yeah. I'm gonna bottle condition this wine, meaning I want it to be fizzy. So I'm gonna add just a teeny bit of sugar into the bottle before I put the wine in and make a nice little fizzy, crushable pet nat type thing. It's gonna be, I'm super pumped on this. This is great. For a 1 liter bottle, about 4.5 grams of sugar should give us a good level of carbonation without going too overboard. Use this little funnel here and you'll raise me up. You'll raise. This is giving a really nice plum look too. Like the color is very plum. You know? Cool. And there we have it. My first foray into carbonic wine.
And plum wine and nectarine wine.
This is really good. So, catch me on the flippity flip when I flip these flip top bottles, popping bottles.
Is that pretty strong wine or?
Mm-mm. It's been in the bottle since the 7th. It is now the 29th, so like 3 weeks. The color is a bit darker than it was when it started. It was like this purple color. Now it's kind of like a brown or purple. It's definitely unfined and unfiltered. You see that?
All natural.
Yeah, there's a lot of sediment. I don't know. I just didn't do a very good job of like racking it or filtering it or anything. I don't think I added anything other than just some sugar.
Oh no.
Another one?
Oh, it's so embarrassing for you.
I hate when this happens. Okay, well,
I'm sure it's gonna taste so good.
I guess it's a still wine.
You wanted it to be a still wine from the beginning, right?
Yeah, totally.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Like, I want this to be still.
And make a nice little fizzy, crushable pet nut type thing.
I really don't care. I mean, that's not a great color.
I think it's endearing, honestly.
Wow. Very nectarine on the nose and a bit of like a bubblegum. Wow. Okay. Very fruity. I love it. It tastes really nice, actually. It's got a lot of this like underripe plum. I'm loving this. It reminds me of like those Humex nectar cans that I used to drink like when I was younger. Yeah, these. It's got like this kind of vibe to it. Like very like juicy, but like it's not viscous. I mean, I think it's really nice. It really does taste like plum and nectarine. I can tell that the plum was underripe, so that's coming through. It's got a little bit less of that like juicy plum, but more of that like lighter portion kind of around the seed. And then a lot of the fruitiness comes more from the nectarine. Here, you want to try it?
Should I be honest? Or for me on the nose, a little bit like stinky feet. It smells like a rag that you wiped someone's stinky feet with. So it's not like in your face pungent, but it's kind of like. But I don't know. The more you sit with it, it's pretty dry. A little savory. I'd probably prefer this as a cocktail, personally.
It would be good in a cocktail.
I think it needs a little bit of sugar. And I think that would help bring out like some of the more favorable flavors.
Maybe we should make a quick cocktail.
Let's do it.
There's a taste that like Demi described as like the stinky feet taste, and I think that that's from like sitting on the lease. I let it sit on the lease like basically the entire time. Yeah, all of this stuff here. The complexity is sort of like developing as it like sits on my palate. It's finishing with like a pan dulce. There's like a dulce de leche kind of vibe. That's, yeah, like Mexican sweets, like bready, kind of that vibe. It's super nice, almost like a coffee, like a milky coffee, like Vietnamese coffee.
Wow, what?
I'm thinking we're gonna go in the route of like a Manhattan style thing. We're gonna do a little bit of brandy, our carbonic plum, some Ango, and then I have this cherimoya syrup. It looks kind of gnarly, but cherimoya kind of reminded me of like it's got a nutty, almost coconut almond kind of flavor to it. So I thought it would pair nicely with that, kind of bring out some more of those like pan dulce vibes that I was getting. So it's gonna be like a reverse Manhattan, yeah. So I'm gonna do just a bar spoon of this to round everything out and give it like some body. 2 dashes of Ango. We're gonna do 1 ounce of brandy and 2 ounces of our wine. Let's just give this a stir. Okay, that feels good. I think I'm gonna add a ½ ounce more of brandy. Needs a little bit more backbone. It's nice. It's kind of like a nice aperitif sipper kind of thing. I'm just gonna strain it in. Nice. And there we go. Let's see how we did. It's crazy orangey now, so I don't know if that was a good idea. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's very fall, but still refreshing, lightly sweet, but has like a great balance and backbone. I may have gone wrong with this orange. I would have rather have had lemon, unfortunately.
You know, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to micromanage.
Yeah, this made it a little too sweet for me, but it's really nice. I mean, it's super delicious.
It's dry, but it's balanced.
It's kind of great.
I get the aperitif kind of vibe, for sure. Maybe because I'm just like hungry.
Yeah, I mean, it's making me absolutely starving, ravenous. So we got to wrap this video up. In conclusion, I think the whole semi-carbonic thing is totally doable at home. And I think I taste it. I honestly, genuinely think I taste more of that fruit flavor than with a traditionally fermented wine. It has a lot of those desserty, fruity, like fun, candy sort of tastes that you would expect from a carbonic wine. With any natural wine, you kind of just, it's the luck of the draw, you know? Every wine is different, and I think this one has a lot of personality. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I think it's really good. So I'm not embarrassed to serve it to people, so that's pretty good. Because some of the other ones, experimenting with semi-carbonic maceration at home, for me at least, this proves that it works. Fuck yeah, right?
Right.
Let me know if you are a home brewer or winemaker and you decide to make some carbonic experiments at home. I would love to hear your experience. I'm still kind of experimenting with it myself, but I'm pretty happy with this. So I'll see you for the next one. Cheers. Good.